Okay folks, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be tying up a Scottish shrimp style fly called the Roncade. So just added on my thread, and for the tag and also the rib of the fly we're going to be using gold wire. So I'm just going to attach the gold underneath and just secure that in with a few turns up to where I hit the hook points. Once you get the hook points, then take your gold wire and just do a few turns at the end to make a tag. Okay, so I've done about half a dozen or so, and then I'm going to put that through the hooks and tuck it underneath again. I'll be securing that in. Now, if you've seen my videos before, you might have seen that I actually then double that back, but for this time I'm going to remove it because there's quite a bit to go on before I do my rib. Okay, so I'm just going to twist it to break it off. Save myself on the scissors. Okay, so for the tail of the fly we're going to be using bucktail, and what I use myself is some pre-stacked orange and yellow bucktail. So I'll put a wee link in the video, but you'll have seen me do this before, that I actually pre-stack it, pre-mix it and stack it to save a wee bit of time. Okay, now I don't want the tag to kick the bucktail up too far, so I'm going to actually put a wee layer of thread just near the tag here, just to level it off a bit. Then I'm going to remove, this is a size 13, so I'm only going to remove a few fibres here from a tail. I just cut them off. Okay, and tail length is entirely up to yourself. Some people do twice the hook, some people do 1.5 times the hook. I'd probably do about, this is quite a short shank hook, but probably about 2.5 the length of the shank. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this in, pinch and loop, and never secure it in very tightly, because being bucktail, if I put a lot of pressure on it, it'll just splay. So I just do it very fine until there's enough pressure to hold it in, and then I get a bit of super glue. If I can ever open this super glue, and I put a wee bit of super glue on the thread, holding that tail, I secure that in. The next time I can go down, I can put on pressure, and that's because the tail has already been secured to the super glue. So whenever you're cutting off your excess, if you want, you can cut off at a bit of an angle to give you a better taper. But I will be using braid for the body, so I'm not too fussed anyway. And then most cascade type flies have a bit of flesh in them. So what I'm going to use is, this is micro crystal hair, and this is going to be for fresh fish, so I'm not too worried about too much flesh. So I've got about, really, I'll do 3 strands here, see how it looks. Okay, and then just put that on top. Okay, and just make sure that the strands are about the same length of the tail. Okay, and then trim off your excess. So this fly has a butt, so you could have had it as a green tag, but I'm going to have a green butt instead. So I have some fluorescent green, and again I'm going to secure that in using the bobbin. A few turns. And that's why I have white thread here, so that the green really shines through. Okay. And the size of the butt's entirely up to yourself. So I've got about 4 or 5 turns with there. It's quite a big butt, but it'll look nice in the water. Now I'm going to take a risk. Normally I would varnish this, but I'm going to leave it because it's new floss. It's this daytime fluorescent floss or whatever it's called. So I'm going to leave that, unknowing that a fish can damage it. But I'll take that risk this time. Then I'm going to use my braid. I'm going to put my braid above. Then I'm going to get my wire again. going to put my wire underneath. Okay, to give me a very secure hold of that braid, and in case it unravels, I'm going to put on a couple of inches of super glued thread wraps, and that just goes down the body as normal. And then follow that down with your flat braid or your flat mylar, whatever you're using yourself. Okay, secure it in with a few turns, and then the same again. Now my first turn of the rib is going to be round that butt. It'll help give it a bit of security. And then for a fly, I say it's probably 4 or 5 turns. For a rib will be more than enough. It's actually not really needed. I'm doing it out of force of habit here. With braid I don't need, but sure, why not? Okay, then just get your wire and twist it at the base while holding tension. And again, using the scissors that you use, some old blunt scissors, to remove your tinsel. Okay, now for the wing of the fly, we're going to use, you can use black fox, you can use any black hair, but I'm going to use black squirrel because this is going to be faced in quite a streamy bit of water. Okay, so I'm going to just take off a section. Okay, I'm going to remove all the underfur. Doesn't have to be too heavy a wing for a fly this size. Okay, I'm going to want this to extend to the back of the actual hook bends themselves. Okay, so I'm going to hold them in with one hand, and then I'm going to pinch and loop. So I'm going to pinch that hair while also pinching the loop and letting it down. As you can see, it actually slipped there, but you can just make adjustments as you go along if you need to. Okay, now for anybody that's worked with squirrel hair before, you'll know that you need to super glue it down. Wax thread just doesn't cut it. So I add on about an inch of super glue, and I just hold that wing just to make sure it's nice and straight, and put that on the thread wraps. That'll give me a very secure hold. That means it won't slip off, because the hair of fox compress well, but the hair of squirrel doesn't. Okay, and then just use your sharp scissors and cut off your excess. Okay, I'm also going to add in a wee bit of flesh. So this is it's like mirror flesh. I'm just going to add a couple of pieces of this on top of the wing. Just 2 strands because it's quite bright. Okay. Like 3 strands got in there, but I won't worry. And again, trim off your excess. And then for the hackle, I'm going to use fluorescent yellow, so it's a lovely, really bright fluorescent yellow. This is going to be for 5 fresh fish. So just get a suitable hackle that'll probably get to your hook points a wee bit further. And then just train your fibres to splay it out, and then break off your point. Always whack my thread when I'm putting on a hackle. And then I just, where the break was in the hackle, I tie in, sweep back, and tie in on top of that there. And then just using scissors, I just run my scissors along that thread length, or along that barb, or along that stalk, sorry. If you need to, if any aren't playing ball, you can always wet the hackle if needs be. Okay, so 1, 2, and I'll probably do 3 for this size. It's not a big fly. I want to make sure there's still plenty of movement. Okay. So screw that in. I'm also then going to bend back the stalk and tie in on top of that again just to get a really secure hold. Okay. Then just going to use a bit of super glue. This is really just to save me doing a whip finish before I change the head. But at the same time it'll give me a very secure hold on that hackle. Okay. And then what I have here is some glow bright. Okay, so just add your floss over the white head. And just add it on as if you would add thread onto any hook. Okay, and just build that up. Every now and again have a wee look to make sure that the white is covered across your side and the far side. Okay, I'm also going to use a wee bit of super glue because it's starting to slip in a few areas. Okay, and then just use your whip finish tool to tie off a couple of turns. 1, 2, 3, that should be enough. Trim off your excess, and that's your Roncade fly, folks. As always, if you enjoyed the video, let us know. Hit the like button below, subscribe, and check out my other videos too if you haven't already done so, folks. Until next time, all the best.